What's going on, everyone? Conservative Video Dipper here. If you got a dip, pack a lip. I am dipping on Grizzly Long Cut Wintergreen. And today we're going to talk about what does old Bernie in the burn mean when he says certain things. Because some people have asked me, conservative, do you ever sometimes feel like democratic socialists try to talk in a very subjective, objective way so that people try not to catch on to it, but it sounds kind of like a bittersweet deal? Too good to be true? Yes. And that's why we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to kind of go through a video that Bernie did a couple days ago, and we're going to discuss it and talk about it. So let's get into it.
Thank you all for joining me. In the midst of these really crazy times.
Some of you may ask, well, what does he mean by crazy times? Basically, he means during the Trump administration. He's trying to put it in a way that it doesn't sound belligerent or totally defacing Trump in any particular way, shape, or form. So he's just, I think, kind of being very nice, but he's probably in a very objective way talking about how and what is going on in our recent years with Trump as our president. And if y'all got a dip, pack a lip with me, cheers. All right, let's keep going.
In our country, I wanted to say a few words about the political situation.
Now, what could he mean, the political situation? Is he trying to supposedly hide what he's meaning, or is he meaning exactly what he's saying? In this one, he's meaning exactly what he's saying. In this political situation, meaning with what's, again, going on with the Republican Party, the Conservative Party, the MAGA Party, basically, which is the Conservative Republican Party. But he's not hiding anything. He's not hiding meanings in this one. But there are others, parts in this video where you can kind of catch it very quickly.
As I see it. As I think all of you know, our political revolution, our grassroots.
Our political revolution. Now, that can be taken in probably two ways. One, meaning that he's creating a political party that is getting ready to stand up and make a resolution or revolution and start doing things. The other is, hey Bradley, I'm doing good. The other could mean that which we kind of can tell, he's talking about his political party, the Democrats, the Socialist Democrats, and how they allegedly want to stand up against the conservatives, the MAGA, the Republicans, like that.
Movement was never ever about electing one person.
It was never about electing one person. Why would he allegedly say that? Maybe it is a pot shot at Trump. Maybe it's a very underhanded way of him saying that this is what they want as socialists. They want a socialistic government control. That's probably what they're looking for. But we already know that. I'm sorry you're not doing good, Bradley. We'll talk later, but But we already know that's basically what Democrats, socialists, progressives want. They want a socialistic country.
To become president of the United States, not Bernie Sanders, not anybody else.
So why would he say not Bernie Sanders and not anyone else? That's weird. Then who is he foreshadowing? Could he be allegedly foreshadowing something we don't know? Maybe. There might be something that Bernie is foreshadowing that we don't know. For instance, maybe he is talking about the secret alleged organization that is in control of everything: politicians, music, media, the deep state. So he might be kind of tipping his hat possibly to the deep state. That could be one alleged thing that he may be doing. But the other is maybe he's just old, senile, and doesn't know what he's doing. Which I'm sure everybody's probably going to go with that one more than the one I'm doing, or the one that I'm kind of leaning towards. That he's tipping his hat towards the hierarchies, the ones that control everything. He could allegedly be doing that. He could be talking about that, saying that these people are maybe allegedly about to come into control if we don't get control of our country right away, directly.
We are a movement to elect progressives at every level who will.
Now, what is he meaning by this? Because he's saying, well, we want to elect progressives at every level. Why? Because what he's basically being very open about, blatantly open, which he's not hiding anything, is he wants this world to become democratic, socialist, progressive. And he knows that people that are questioning Trump right now are having a hard time trying to figure out where they stand. Which side are they going to be on? Because Democrats aren't doing any good. Trump's doing okay, but yeah, he could do better, but people are pissed off at him because they don't think he's doing exactly what he should allegedly be doing. He's allegedly listening to people he should not be listening to. So it's obvious he's not hiding anything in that one. He's trying to tell us this is what he wants these people to do, is elect progressives in office. This is like a alleged war cry for them. This is rallying the troops, trying to rage bait everyone into doing something that later is going to have worse repercussions, not just for them, but for us, everyone, by voting socialist democratic. Because remember what Reagan said: socialism will come in the form of liberalism. Socialism will come in the form of liberalism. And that has never been so true till now. Because now, more than ever, we are facing these people head on. We know that they're here. We thought we got rid of socialism and communism, but we haven't done very much to get rid of it. We allowed it to brew underneath our nose for so long.
Fight for a government that represents all of us.
So what is he trying to do? He's basically trying to be objective by saying he wants people to vote for a government that will be very helpful and very Not counterproductive or counterintuitive, but we'll be there. But you can also take this as he's basically urging people to vote socialist so that the socialists control the government and controls everything, and nothing is capitalistic anymore. Capitalism goes away. That's what he's trying possibly to say. That could be two meanings behind what he's saying right there.
And not just the 1%. That's what.
Now remember, does the socialist Democrats ever care about 1% or anyone but themselves? No, they don't care about the rich, the poor, the middle class, the low class. They don't give a crap or a damn about anyone. So we know that's not true. They don't care about the 1%. They don't care about the black community, the white community, the Latinos, the LGBTQIA community. We know they don't give a damn about any of those communities. They don't give a damn about the Constitution. They want to do away with our Constitution, which to me is very, very scary. That is dangerous.
Are about.
No, we are not a democracy. This is something that he's trying to tell everyone in a different way, that we are an alleged democracy state. We have never been a democracy state. We have been a republic constitutional state since 1776, since our forefathers signed the Declaration of Independence and we broke away from England. We have never been a democratic state or a democracy or a socialist country at all. This is what they want, ladies and gentlemen. They want socialism. They want it so bad they can taste it. It's like they're trying to reach out with their cold fingers to grab socialism and bring it into our country, when a lot of us have been trying to fight against it and get it to go away and stay away forever. And this is the shit that Reagan warned us about that was coming.
And last night, I'm happy to tell you that Maylard Quiros, a candidate who we supported, many of you contributed to financially.
Gee, I wonder where allegedly half of that money came from. That'd be very interesting to find.
Won a huge
Huge. Nice, Bernie, for trying to not sound like Donald there.
Upset victory in the Denver, Colorado area.
See, and that's sad that Denver may be becoming socialist. That is not good. Denver should never become socialist. If you care about your state and this country, you'd vote against socialism. You'd vote against the Democrats. You would say, nah, let's not have the socialist win. Let's vote somebody that's a conservative, that believes in the Constitution, that will stand for the Constitution and nothing more.
She took on a 30-year incumbent member of the House of Representatives, and she won by a 10-point margin.
Now, what would be very interesting for me to ask in this situation is, was it allegedly fair? Was it done supposedly fair? No funny business, no nothing. Just a fair, straight, across the board sweep win. Or did they have to allegedly do a little something fishy to get her to allegedly win? I'm just asking normal questions that should always be asked.
Her opponent had millions and millions of dollars in super PAC funding.
Super PAC. Why does these people go against or everyone talk about like super PAC or alleged APAC money? Because APAC or super PAC is money that is given to you by an alleged certain group or whatever. And people find it very allegedly unfair because that's just basically allegedly putting more money in your pocket than everyone else. Which I understand politicians should not be taking money from other countries or other sources to allegedly win, but it happens in politics, and yeah, it should not happen. But at the same time, we know the Democrats, the socialists, allegedly have been known to allegedly do that sometimes. Not all of them, but some of them have allegedly been known to do it. So it's kind of again, both sides can allegedly be very unfair.
And greatly outspent her.
That's good. But that's good that she did it if she did it by winning fairly. But again, we kind of know that sometimes allegedly the Democrats, socialists can do things that are not fair. So again, I still kind of question that.
But Maylott did what progressives always do.
Which is?
She ran a strong grassroots campaign with many, many hundreds of volunteers, and she won.
Now, could he be allegedly sensationalizing numbers? Probably, more than likely. More than likely, he could be sensationalizing numbers to make it sound astronomically bigger than what it is. But at the same time, it could be truthful. So, don't know. I don't know on that one. That one, kind of up in the air on that one.
When I look at Maylott's victory, when I look at the election results in New York City that made Zohran Mamdani the mayor of that city.
And remember, New York right now is socialist. Their mayor, Mehdi Zarami, or whatever his name is allegedly trying to implement Sharia law, which is Islamic law in New York. This is what happens. And now it's been allegedly purported that people are trying to leave New York because they don't like it. Well, they voted for it. This is kind of what allegedly they wanted. They got what they wanted, but they don't like it. Excuse me. So it's kind of weird because even though they don't like it, why do they still support it? Because they're brainwashed into believing that it's okay. But then once they get a taste of what extremists, socialist, democratic rules and laws are, then they start understanding more and more that, oh, that was a bad idea to be voting for that in any way, shape, or form. And we kind of do regret it. And they kind of do regret it. But some of them do, some of them don't. So it's kind of a catch-22, if you will. But I'm sure some people are regretting it. And people are not liking that New York is very socialist, alleged Islamic.
When I look at
extreme Islamic
recent primary victories in New Jersey, Montana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, California.
We already know that California basically is a hellhole. California is already in itself destroyed. They destroyed their chances of ever trying to be better by by not electing conservatives. They could have had a chance by electing conservatives and people that are conservative or Republican that will do a job for California to do it. But as we all know, California is pretty liberal, pretty socialist liberal, democratic. So they're not going to get out of it. They're going to stay in it, and that's it, which sucks. And I kind of don't feel bad for California, really, because that's what they voted for. That's what they wanted. You reap what you sow, my friends.
Rural areas, urban areas. When I look at Abdul El Sayed's.
Before we go into this guy, let's go into like the other country, or the other, not countries, but the other states he's talking about. Any of those other states that he's talking about that go socialist, especially Pennsylvania, where Pennsylvania should be a red state, it should be because of jobs and stuff up there, or any other state that should be red, that does have or could have good qualities if they just voted red and chose to vote conservative Republican, they would see that socialism is just a mere concept of alleged world domination and destruction amongst us as humans. Divisive. It divides us. It conquers us. It's a dividing and alleged divide and conquer type technique that socialists use to implement it by brainwashing people more and more with bad politicians, media, and bad ideas.
Lead in the polls in Michigan. When I look at Graham Plattner running a fantastic grassroots campaign.
Which, by the way, Graham Plattner allegedly was told to resign because of some certain alleged things. So yeah, Graham Plattner's not a really good person to be looking up to.
And defeating a sitting Democratic governor in Maine for the Democratic nomination there.
Between socialists and Democrats, what's the difference? Right now, not very much. A long time ago, Democrats were more like JFK type Democrats. JFK Jr. type alleged Democrats. Those were like what you could allege working class Democrats. They were Democrats, but about people. Excuse me. Democrats today are just more socialistic, progressive. They're more about maintaining control and chaos amongst us and amongst the world. They don't care. They don't care about anyone. A long time ago, Democrats really didn't virtual signal. Now they have to because it's implemented as a rule that they must, because they have to be a good little Democrat and follow their higher ups. If they don't follow the higher ups, then they get allegedly in trouble and have a little stern talking to you, like, don't do that again.
When I look at Peggy Flanagan's dynamic and aggressive campaign in Minnesota, when I look at the...
Hold on, Minnesota. Let's talk about this. Minnesota. We already know what Minnesota is about. Pretty much anti-ICE, anti-Trump. They don't give a shit about trying to make their life better. They're about pretty much being socialistic, allegedly now, from what we can kind of see and how they kind of alleged actions prove to us that they are.
Huge turnouts for our Fight Oligarchy rallies.
Oligarchy. Big word, big boy word. But what could he allegedly be implementing? Meaning that he's allegedly trying to have people fight to implement progressive socialistic ideologies. That's what he could allegedly be meaning. Now, I don't know if that's what he really is trying to implement in the way he's talking by that sentence, but that's just kind of how I feel that he's allegedly going about it.
No King events.
Yeah, so the No Kings protest events are just stupid. They're honestly absolutely dumb. Because first and foremost, Trump is not a king. We don't have kings here. We're not like in England where we don't have kings and queens. And most of the time, the alleged kings and queens really don't have much of a say. They aren't really allegedly in that much control of power, of making much differences. They're just more kind of allegedly for showmanship, if you will. There's, oh, look at me, I'm so fabulous. And they swirl and twirl and shake hands and greet and meet people because that's just what they do. Allegedly, the kings and queens really don't mean anything nowadays. They don't have much say in the parliament ruling. But they forget that not only Trump's not a king, but he's a president. And a lot of these people that go to the No Kings protest think that King Trump is a king, but they don't, again, think about this, that we don't have kings here in America. We really haven't. We have what's called college electoral votes to vote for a president or vote for people to be put in office in our parliament, in our, the White House or our Senate. They don't understand that. They never have and never will, because that's how brainwashed they are from the media and the politicians lying to them and telling them that Trump is claiming to be a king. But again, Trump's not a king. You can't call Trump a king. You can call him a president, but not a king.
Millions of people all over the country.
Millions of people all over the country. Right. So Bernie could again be sensationalizing numbers and trying to make it sound more big or huge than what it really allegedly is.
Coming out to these events.
I bet you most events that are socialistic, democratic, they probably don't get very many people. Not at all. They probably don't. They probably hardly get, like, maybe at least the max, maybe 100 to 200 people, and that's it. It's pretty sad.
When I look at a billionaire's tax qualifying for...
He wants to talk about taxes. Okay. Remember what socialists do. They keep the rich rich, the poor, the middle class right where they are, or the middle class down to the poor section.
The ballot in California, which is no easy task.
Now that we know is kind of a alleged lie, because if you're Democratic, socialist, it's easy for you to do a lot of things. If all you have to do basically is just implement virtual signaling, lies, deception, make promises that you won't allegedly ever really keep, and you could basically win in California. That's it. As long as people don't know down there that you're conservative. Or if you are conservative, then you won't have ever a chance of winning in California. So, but what he said about the ballots and stuff, that's an alleged lie. Because we all know that if you're, again, Democratic Socialist, it's easy to get to things. It's easier. That's called, in my opinion, that's called Democratic Socialist privilege. And they abused the hell out of it.
When I look at worker organizing campaigns sprouting up and succeeding across the country.
Yeah, but do you know why allegedly that is happening, though, Bernie? See, again, he doesn't understand that some of this is happening because of conservatives and Republicans voting to make things happen, not because they're voting for a socialist who isn't doing shit for us, but we're voting for people that are doing things for us.
When I look at public support for trade unions.
Let's talk a little bit about the union. Okay. So there is kind of good sides and bad sides to allegedly being part of the union. The few things I know about the union is that if you allegedly say you get fired for just no particular reason, they let you go for some alleged discrimination or a discriminatory reason or a prejudice reason, the union is supposed to come in and stand up for you and say, hey, if you got removed or fired from your job because of whatever alleged bogus reason that they're alleging, then we're going to stand up for you and go to court and help you receive, payment or help you figure out. They're going to delegate basically for you. It's not always about going to court, but sometimes they do have to allegedly go to court in order to settle things. But there's tactics that they use to delegate to supposedly help you and figure out why this happened to you. And then from there, they probably will ask you either if you do want to take it to court or not. That's up to you. That's fine. That's one thing that, yes, the union allegedly really does well for certain people. But sometimes allegedly it is not always the best. It doesn't go very well sometimes. On the other flip coin of it, you have what's called union dues. You got to pay, I think, supposedly like $20 a month, which comes out of your check. If you just have them take it out of your check, then there's your union due, and you have to pay it. And then I think the other thing is getting into the union. I don't know if it's really that hard. I think it's a little bit easy. But if you're a union worker, then you can, I think, only be able to do union jobs, stuff that's only for the union, or that the union, I think, says okay. But if you're non-union, here's the thing. So when it comes to like non-union workers, they aren't going to allegedly get as represented as they should be if they get fired for some alleged bogus reason. So yeah, again, that kind of does help that the union can speak for you and do those things for you. But at the same time, sometimes it's maybe a little bit better for you to just grab an attorney and fight it out with your attorney, talk to your attorney. Because sometimes that's maybe a little bit more of a better thing to do. I don't know. Some people say it's better to just go for it with your attorney. Some people say union is pretty good. But also, again, kind of on that same token, union does have some alleged better benefits, like healthcare, medical, stuff like that. They do a little bit more for you. So kind of give and take with deciding if you're going to go union or not, because unions do have some good things and some alleged not so good things that allegedly are part of the union. So just do some research, figure out whether or not if you want to be a union worker. Um, that's all I can say. I'm not saying like unions complete crap. I'm just saying think about in your mind, think about this. If you're going to go union, think about what is the pros and cons to doing it, and then what's the pros and cons for not being union. So just a food for thought.
and an all-time high. I believe that it may just be possible that this country is on the verge of the political revolution we have fought for.
What is he? What is he probably alleging right there? So what he's probably alleging, more than likely than anything, is that he's not only probably trying to virtual signal towards progressive socialist Democrats, but he's saying that good job. You guys are putting up a really good fight. You guys are doing good. Attaboy. And he's virtual signaling by saying that this is what we're fighting for, and we're doing a good job fighting for it, fighting for socialism, which is very disgusting, in my opinion. I don't know how anyone would want to vote socialistic
for such a long time. Now, I do not have a crystal ball to
Well, we didn't expect you to there, Bernie.
Tell you what will happen next, but last night and the last several months have given me hope and optimism, and I hope it does the same for you.
He's trying to keep his head up. He's basically, in my point of view, he's again patting everyone on the back, and he's trying to tell the Democratic Socialists, progressives, keep up the good work. You guys are doing a very good job. He's butt kissing, basically, in layman's term.
It has given me hope that all across this country, people understand that given the dangerous and unprecedented moment in which we are living.
What does he mean by that? What could he allegedly mean by that? The dangers of the precedented moment we live in, or what he just said. He's allegedly saying that capitalism is a threat to democracy, which it is. It is. Capitalism is a threat to their democracy in a big way, because capitalism means little government control, but also a little bit of us controlling. Socialism is more about they control everything. The government controls everything. We don't control nothing. We basically don't own anything at that point. Everything that we once owned now belongs to the government, and it ceases to exist if we try to claim it's ours. It's destroyed, or they allegedly will get rid of it because it represents capitalism or the republic, the Constitution, America, for what it should be. They want to, again, rid of it because they want what they've always fought for: socialism, communism, control. And this is what I always tell you guys and gals: the media controls everything. Not just the politicians, but the control of the media is so heavily influential in our lives. That's why we have to be very mindful about when we listen to the media. We don't take everything they say as truth. We question it. We ask ourselves, are they really being honest and genuine with us at this moment in present time, or are they being disingenuous? What are they doing? Why are they allegedly trying to spin narratives? Are they trying to spin narratives, or are they speaking truth? And the other side just wants to claim that it's truth spin. This is what I've always said. And this is why I will always stand up against socialism. I do not like socialism.
We need to rethink, rebuild, and fundamentally reform the Democratic Party.
This is very interesting because right here, it's not really objective, subjective, or ambiguous or gray lined. It's pretty obvious. What he's saying is 100% what the Democrats want to hear, which is they need to start trying to become more and more present than what they allegedly are right now. They need to start trying to find a way to allegedly grab more control and being more present in policies and politics and policing us in what we can allegedly say or not say and how we think and how we feel throughout our lives. That's basically what they're trying to do and what they're trying to say. What he's allegedly trying to say is that they need to not only continue to grab, again, that control from everyone, but make us a number. Basically, we're all going to be alleged prisoners with just numbers, because that's allegedly what we are. When we become born, we either get our social security number, which most of us do, Americans do get social security numbers, and we're born with numbers, like the day we're born. The government knows all of these things. Do you not think that not just the government knows it, but the socialists allegedly are starting to figure out that this is, again, what they want us to become alleged prisoners, like in the TV show The Prisoner? We're just going to become numbers at this point, because when they have the ultimate goal completed that they want, which is alleged corruption, destruction, and alleged world domination and control of everything, we're just going to all be numbers. And there's nothing at that point we can do. It's over. We can't fight. We can't start over again. We're screwed. And this is what he's trying to allegedly say, which is he's trying to tell people, we want this. This is good, which is not true at all. That's bad. So he's not being honest. He's being disingenuous.
We need a party that is not just in opposition.
Not just a party in opposition. So what would a party of not just opposition be? Socialism. Because they don't just oppose. They directly implement. They imply things. They put things down that are rules and laws and regulations.
To Trump and his disastrous policies.
And that's why you probably allegedly didn't win, Bernie, in the presidential election, and why allegedly you may have, from alleged purports, have been bought out, or you dropped out because you knew you weren't going to win.
That is vital.
And I've had people ask me, well, conservative, why do you think Bernie didn't win? I know why. I have a feeling I know why. Part of it is I feel Bernie didn't win because he was way too progressive. He was way too progressive when all of the other progressives weren't ready to go that far. Probably, more than likely. and they didn't want him to allegedly be that progressive because they would rather have a time where progressivism comes up and uproots on its own and not being too pushed or mandated amongst people. But people are kind of starting to get used to this idea that it's now going to be mandated and implemented in our minds. When I think of socialism, I think of the song "Welcome to the Machine" by Pink Floyd. You know that "Welcome, my son, welcome to machine." That one. That's exactly what I think of when I listen to that song. Is what our world is going to become, a machine. Just one big circular circulating machine that pushes progressivism, liberalism, and ideologies that nobody can disagree with. We can't disagree with it. We can't argue against it. We can't fight back the corruption and take back what is ours at that point. Again, like I said before, this is what is so dangerous about these kind of ideologies is that they don't care how far allegedly they will go to get it. They will do it. Look at music. Look at your kids' TV shows. What do they indoctrinate kids with? Alleged LGBTQIA virtual signaling crap. They do that because, again, they're trying to brainwash. They're trying to um, not just indoctrinate, but prepare. Probably more likely would be the better word, the younger generations for what is allegedly about to come if we don't stop it before it gets too late. It's bad.
Be important. And progressives are going to lead the way in opposition to Trump. But that is not enough. We need
Opposition. So, what do they mean by alleged opposition? They can mean multiple different things, meaning that they're going to impose or oppose Trump, yes, but how are they going to oppose Trump? They're going to use their ideologies, their alleged indoctrination, their cult tactics. Again, they're preparing the newer generations for what they're trying to do to oppose anyone that has a different idea than them. They have to tell that person that they are wrong. They can't be friends with that person. They can't hang out with that person because that person that has different ideologies than them are wrong and racist, fascist. But in actuality, who's allegedly the racist and the fascist? The Socialist Democrats. Simple. It's easy to see.
a party that is prepared to take on the greed.
Yeah, but what does socialism do for greed? That's a thing. I'm gonna let him finish. But think about what does socialism do for greed?
And ideology
Greed, ideology,
of the oligarchs,
which is a very big boy flakish term for anyone that opposes them.
who
So, ideologies and greed. Those are two things he said that are the biggest issues for them, right? Greed. Well, here's the problem. Who's greedy? Remember I asked you guys, think about this. Who is more greedy? True conservatives? True MAGA? Or the socialist? If you said socialist, you are correct. They are more greedy. They want the government to be more and more richer. And they claim they hate the rich. They claim they despise people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Trump and people like that are rich. But what do? They keep the rich rich. They claim that they want to tax the shit out of the rich. But what do? They allegedly give the rich a tax exemption sometimes. If it only if that alleged company, they only allegedly do this if the company agrees or is part of their agenda and agrees with their ideology. Then allegedly they give that those rich people tax exemptions, alleged tax exemptions. Pretty easy to see how these things connect and entwine with each other. It's like just one big bowl of horse shit, big steaming pile of horse manure. They don't want to tax the rich. They want to keep it because they claim that they hate capitalism, but what are they doing? They're using capitalistic, they're, yes, using socialist ideologies, but still implementing an alleged little bit of capitalism. So it's socialist capitalistic, but it's not capitalism really in the technical sense as like what we are right now, but it's a different version of capitalism. It's almost like the Chinese Communist Party. They are communist, but they do claim that they are capitalistic. Why? Because they know that they can't survive without capitalism, a little bit of capitalism. They have to keep it up in order to stay afloat and keep themselves up to that point where they can have money in their pocket. Very, very sneaky.
Now control the economic, media.
Who controls the media? Who controls the media? Think about that. So, what he's basically saying in a very, I wouldn't want to say weird way, but in an alleged very ambiguous way, if you want to think about it, it could be another very subjective or objective way of him saying that they want to continue to contribute to brainwashed cult mentalities, but they think that we are at fault for it. That we conservatives, capitalist conservatives, are at fault for it. It's not true. They are at fault for it. Because who controls the alleged media? The higher ups. See, again, this is why I will always use that term Ponzi or Potsies. Because this is what they are. They are Potsies. They are just puppets having their string pulled and being told what to say, what to do, and how to do it, and how to act and think. For the general public, we don't notice it because for some of us that are just like immune to it or just don't see it right away or at this point, we don't believe it. But it is allegedly more truth than lies. Well, but conservative, allegedly the Illuminati was disbanded. Yes. But just because they were allegedly disbanded and they are claims out there that they don't exist, they do. But they allegedly go under another name. They still exist under a alleged different name. And I'm wondering if we're starting to see them more and more and more.
And political life of our nation, and we need to create an economy and a government that works for all of us.
Which is not true. They're not going to do that. That's a lie. Because think about it. In a socialistic world, do they really care about everybody and how things work and people? No, they don't care about the general public. They don't care as long as you work like a dog and you're a good little puppy and you follow their orders. You do what they say, you believe in what they tell you. The world around you basically is like what they will tell you, and you cannot argue with that. If they tell you it's going to rain meatballs, you have to believe it. If it happens to hail kibbles and bits, you can't question what kind of kibbles and bits is it going to allegedly rain or storm. They control not just everything, but they control the media, our lives, and they control everything around us. That's exactly what allegedly I was trying to tell you guys. When people want to make alleged claims that the alleged Illuminati doesn't exist, they do. Who do you think's pulling these people's strings? The higher ups. Now, it could be, again, alleged Illuminati. It could be the hierarchies, the anarchies, the anarchists, definitely the alleged fascists. All of them have a hand in this. This is just to them a chess game. We're all pawns in it. Remember what I said. Just like in the TV show Prisoner, we're all just numbers. I am not a number. I am a man. I will not be booked, stacked, folded, numbered. I am a man. Well, I hate to tell you, number six, but you're number six. I think at this point we all are becoming numbers. It's just we're waiting for a number six to start exposing this. Well, we already have number six exposing it, which is Trump. He's doing it, but the problem is, could he allegedly be compromised? Don't know. I don't think Trump yet is allegedly compromised yet at this point. But that's allegedly what they do, is if somebody figures them out too much and knows too much, they allegedly get compromised. They are allegedly considered compromised and allegedly done away with. This is what they do.
And not just the few. We need a Democratic Party that opens its doors to new people.
Democratic Party that opens the door to new people, which allegedly, probably more likely, would mean open borders.
New energy. And
well, thank God, Bernie, you ain't going to do it because you're too damn old to do it.
New ideas.
New ideas. So, could it mean when he says new ideas, could it mean that the old alleged socialistic ways are too aggressive, too invasive, and they have to come up with a new idea, a new innovation to motivate, to rejuvenate younger voters and voters to lean the way that they want. Maybe that could totally contribute to all of what has been going on.
You need a Democratic Party that is truly a grassroots party.
Grassroots. That could be a alleged hidden term for something, meaning that they are looking for somebody that, or maybe allegedly waiting for somebody that is part of the higher ups to start coming out and being their leader, maybe. Like a lotus. They're just waiting for that lotus flower to bud out and grow and show itself with new ideas of how to incorporate socialism in our lives and how to do it more and more and more. Whether it's going to be allegedly more invasive and more thought provoked by the media or by the politicians.
Where decisions are made from the bottom on up, not from the top on down.
So what he's could be saying on that one is it's about us, we the people. People can interpret it that way, but I don't interpret it that way. What I see, or how I allegedly interpreted this, is he wants socialism, democratic socialist, to control where we again have no say.
We need a Democratic Party which becomes the political home of the working class of our country.
But is the Democratic Party really about the working class? No. Have they really ever given a damn about the working class? No. They don't care about coal miners, loggers, truckers, oil riggers. They don't care about any working class. That's the thing. We know they don't give a damn about them. We know they use them because they're smooth talkers. That's what they're really, really good at, being smooth talkers. They like to sweeten the deal. That's how they get the attention. Again, you can go watch one of my videos where I talk about how they cluster cluck your mind, how these things all can be incorporated into the conversations I've been having a long time with you all that have watched my channel. It's about them, not anyone else but them, fooling people. They trick people. They're kind of like, and I mean no offense to the Norse god Loki, but they are kind of like Loki, tricksters. They are people of chaos and alleged war. Pretty simple to see.
And young people, black and white, Latino,
Black, white,
and Asian, American and Native American, all Americans.
but again, what has socialists ever done for these people? Nothing. But allegedly take their money. Sure, they do have to allegedly put a little bit of money towards the people that they're being virtuous about. Otherwise, it would seem a little suspicious, more suspicious than not. So if they put a little money towards those communities that they're being virtuous towards, then they can say, well, we put our money exactly where we claimed it would be. But then people will ask, what about the other half of the money? Where did the alleged other half go? Well, you see what happened was, yeah, what happened was they allegedly took other half of that alleged money and used it for shit that shouldn't be used, for things that we really were not paying for, like allegedly them rebuilding or remodeling their houses.
And here is the very good news. The agenda that we are fighting for.
The agenda. He wasn't really subjective, objective, or ambiguous about that one. He was being honest. They do have a narrative. They do have a plan. Always. They always have had one. The biggest question is, what is their plan?
Or is the agenda that
their agenda
American people want? Now, I know that our opponents say this is a far left agenda. Nobody likes it. Well,
that's true. Nobody does like it because their agenda is alleged control, chaos, alleged destruction, and more division, divisiveness between us as American people. That is their whole objective. That is their main prerogative, their main goal. And they will not stop until they win. And we can't let them win. We should never let them win. Ever.
Guess what? The vast majority of the people are with us.
Which I would probably more than likely disagree with, because you look at that fact. How many people are allegedly going to go and say, yeah, we want socialism, we want progressivism? Sure, there are really gullible, stupid people out there, and I hate to use that term very loosely, but it's true. I'm not using it to be vindictive or facetious or condescending. It's true. It's so much true. They know exactly what they are doing. And again, they will not stop until they succeed. And we, again, can't let them succeed. It's like the South that is fighting for the freedom, their homes, not because of slavery, but because they don't want government to control them. They're against government control and pettiness. These democratic socialists are very petty. They will do allegedly anything possible or imaginable to get you to vote for them, just by being petty and condescending, being facetious, telling you to leave your family if they don't agree with you. That's kind of how Scientology is. Again, I'm comparing democratic socialism to Scientology because that's kind of what Scientology does. If you don't agree with them, you're called an SP, which is a suppressive person. Socialists don't call you suppressive person. They just call you all sorts of really whacked out, fucked up names. But that's typically really what it is that you're a suppressive person against these socialists because you don't agree with their terms and their ways. You are an enemy, allegedly, to them, which is fine. I'd rather be an enemy than join them. Well, but conservative, what if you can't beat them? Then join them. Why? What's the point? At least I would rather continue to do what I do, fighting against it, than join them, being one of them. A kook or not even a kook, but a whack job that isn't free. They want to do away with our Constitution. They want to do away with free speech. Has people noticed that when they do this alleged gun buyback program, what is that? That is a very hidden socialistic ideology that they want you to comply or see how many comply with allegedly allowing them to buy back your weapons before it allegedly gets to the point where they will enforce it, where they will have people break down your doors and take away your guns. And start policing us more and doing things more and more and more, implementing more and more rules. Because they want to see who is complicit. Just like the alleged C-19 jab. They want to see who's complicit in it. They want to see how many people comply with it. Who will follow along like just the same way as with the mask. They want to see how many people comply. That's all it is about, is who will comply and who will not comply. And they probably write a list of people that don't comply and a list of names that do comply, that are complicit. Pretty scary, isn't it?
Because they understand that our healthcare system is broken. It's the
But what is their healthcare system? Universal, which means taxpayers have to pay for our healthcare, right? We have to pay for each other, which is not a good thing. That's a no-no. That's socialistic. We have a healthcare plan, but they want one that comes from our pockets. Because just like giving people that don't need EBT cards or Social Security, they're giving things allegedly away to people that don't need it and doing things that need to be done away with.
functional. It is wildly.
He says it's functional. Now, here's the problem. It's not very functional at all. You break it down to looking at the truth about it. What is universal healthcare going to do? What is it implementing? Is it implementing that it's like having Medicaid part or Medicare or whatever health insurance, alleged health insurance pays for certain things? No, it comes out of our own pockets. We pay for somebody else. They don't have pros and cons to this. They have just mostly cons that they don't want to tell you because they would rather, again, be subjective or ambiguous about it. Because that's how they catch you, is if you're not paying attention to the specific details. You got to kind of like when terms and agreement, you got to look through all the terms and agreement when you sign up for certain things like emails or YouTube accounts, platform of any sorts. There's terms and agreements that you have to look through unless you already know about it or you just blatantly don't care. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get you to sign the terms and agreement without looking at the fine print and saying, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. That's how they catch people. That's where they get very fucking smart. They know this shit. And they know it fools people that are gullible.
Expensive, and that we must pass Medicare for all.
Which is universal health care, which is bullshit. Because again, what is their terms and agreement? What is the hidden message behind it?
Because healthcare is a human right, not a privilege.
If you're an American, you have a right to it, but it also can be a privilege because it also can allegedly be abused and misused, just like alleged Social Security, EBT cards, food stamps. All of these alleged things can be misused by people. It's no secret that people don't already know. We are aware of it.
At a time when 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, the American people know that we must raise the minimum wage to a living wage.
Now, how are we going to do that? Again, more than likely, what they're thinking, their concept. So, what allegedly he means by this is that he wants to up the minimum living wage, which also means things might allegedly get a little bit more expensive, like gas, food, stuff like that. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You do not drink the fizzy lifting drink. You leave it alone. For any of you that get that reference, good. Please. I'm happy you understand it, and please understand it. These people want you to think that they are there for you. They're not there for you. They're not there to lift minimum wage up. Yes, people do live paycheck to paycheck. It sucks. I do too. I live paycheck to paycheck too. But at the same time, people that are here illegally are getting jobs, getting driver's license, and getting things off of a whim that they shouldn't be getting because they're not American citizens. They haven't come here legally. They're abusing the system. And they want us again to not pay attention to what is being truly said.
So that no worker in America lives in poverty.
Remember what I said before. Everything that is socialist goes to hell. Every country, every state goes to hell in a handbasket when it turns socialist. They don't care. They want you to work like a dog. Look at Russia. Russia is pretty socialist. Cuba, Venezuela, Iran. pretty socialist. They are fooling people into believing this is what they truly can do to help.
At a time when corporation after corporations
Thank you, Zen Jam.
operates illegally by making it impossible for workers to join unions.
Here's the kicker though. A company owner should choose whether or not that company is union or not the government. They can choose. In my opinion, it should be up to the owner of whether or not that company is union or not. Forcing a company to be union is not always going to work in the advantage that they think it will. They're, again, trying to wiggle their way into thinking that they're smart and saying that, well, if every company is union, it's going to work out peachy. Not how it works. Because there are some companies that have allegedly had problems with the union. And the union is not so nice to them, or they just don't think the union is going to hold a candle to the wind in regards to the employees and the employers that are there at that company. It should be up to the company manager. That's it. That's my opinion.
The American people understand that unions are the means by which workers get protection, and we must make it easier.
Sure. Again, going back to union, yes, there is some good and bad with union, hand in hand. There can be some pros and cons to being union. But remember, do your due diligence, read up on the pros and cons of being a union. Think about it. If you do a union job, then that means you are going to be part of the union. And that if they strike, then you basically aren't working. So then that might mean you have to might go to a different job that is union related if they strike, or if your one company allegedly striking, go to another company or go to another job until they strike or are done striking. So there's kind of the other thing about union too that you got to understand is that there are things about it. Now I've heard questions like, well, if allegedly your union crews or the union company that you're with strikes, do you have to strike with them? No, you don't have to participate and picket with them, but it just means that you're going to be out of work and you're not going to get paid unless they do allegedly pay you while they're on strike, which more than likely probably might not happen. It depends. But also, you've got to think about this too. While working for union, if the union company is striking and nobody's allegedly getting paid, and if every company is union and this happens worldwide, nobody's going to get paid. So that is a downfall to if we have every company become unionized. It's not good because we got to balance between union workers and non-union workers. So if non-union workers want to continue to work while the union's out there striking and picketing, then so be it. They should be able to work. But if every company's union, that means that people are going to be shut down. Things are going to not go very well.
For workers to join unions. And I don't care whether you're a conservative Republican,
he says he doesn't care if we're conservative or whatever, but we know they do. We know that they care. They are going to lie to you about that.
Socialist or moderate or whatever you may be.
Socialist, huh? Well, we know that you would rather have everyone be socialist, Bernie.
Everybody knows that our current campaign finance system is corrupt and that it is dominated by billionaires and their super PACs who buy and sell to politicians.
Okay, if that's allegedly true, then that's not a good thing. But at the same time, Bernie, you haven't given us anything really significant to stand on as of to why we should vote socialistic democratic. You're just giving us buzzwords. You're giving us things that you know how to speak. You're trying to sound very mushy mush about this with some alleged hitting terms and agreements, I will say, that are very questionable. That doesn't convince me to want to agree with you. That just proves to me by what you've been saying why I will always disagree with you, because socialism never works. We cannot agree with these people. These kinds of people like Bernie Sanders, who has these ideologies that are very radicalized, allegedly radicalized to a degree, are people that we don't want running for any seat. I don't give a shit what kind of political party, or not political party, but what mayor, whatever. They should not be allowed to do such thing, because socialists are bad.
Everybody knows that we must end Citizens United, get super PAC.
Why should we end Citizens United? What is that? All right, whatever.
Out of the political process.
I think, yeah, we should not allow politicians to take money from alleged certain groups or people that could allegedly be very influential in regards to how the political party does or what they do. But at the same time, I think we should just do away with socialism altogether. Again, just get rid of it. Send them to another country that is socialistic, that they can enjoy and not have to hear them whine about it anymore.
And that we need to move toward public funding of elections. And at a time when we have more income and wealth inequality.
Income and wealth. But Bernie, I thought you just said that you wanted to get rid of the rich, tax the shit out of the rich. Isn't that what you guys are all about, allegedly? So how do we get that if you guys allegedly don't want to use capitalism? Then what do we do? How do we do this if you don't want to allegedly be capitalistic? Yeah. See, they hate capitalism so much, but they still can't live without it.
Than we have ever had in the history of this country. Yeah, we must demand that the wealthy and the billionaire class start paying their fair share of taxes.
One thing I can never get over it when they say something like that. Let's tax the shit out of the rich. But when they do such thing or say such thing, what they really mean is we're just allegedly going to continue to fund the rich. We're going to continue to run as little capitalistic as we possibly can with socialist ideologies, but even though we whine and cry and complain that we hate capitalism, we still have to use it, and that the rich are always going to be the number one factor for certain things in our lives, and they know that. They know that big corporate companies do have to kind of stay afloat. So, in the world of capitalism, where should we stand? Well, little government control with a little bit of the people control, not the government fully controlling everything and the government doing it all, but everybody. We got to balance. We can't have just the government control everything or have just us control everything and the government not have very little control of anything. We got to balance it out. There's got to be an equation of balance, and they don't want to balance it. They want the unbalanced version of their life in their world. Their world is full of delusions, lies, deceptions, because they understand that capitalism is the biggest part of our lives. I use it, you use it, we all use it here in America. Capitalism, baby. Gotta love it. The way the world works. But when it comes to corporate companies, they want to allegedly shut them down because they're not happy with it, because they think that the corporate companies make way too much. But at the same time, what they don't see is that the people that are rich do have to pay taxes still, just like me, you, and everyone else. No one is exempt from paying taxes. I'm not, you're not, nobody is. Nobody's exempt. Nobody should be exempt from paying taxes. Everyone should pay taxes. But taxation without representation is the old motto. And of course, we got to pay taxes just like everyone else, just like the corporate companies got to pay taxes. Sure, they might not allegedly get taxed higher, but they do get taxed. So think about
And
it.
right now, when you have a president of the United States who wants to increase military spending by $500 billion.
Military spending. So, what I hear right here from him is we don't want to spend money on military because we want our military to be a bunch of fluffy marshmallows. Right, okay. First and foremost, our military is not a bunch of fluffy marshmallow people. They are men and women who chose to take an oath to protect, serve, defend our Constitution from foreign and domestic, and alleged militia, and alleged government entities that are a little bit out of control. The military men and women took the oath. If money is going to the military and is being spent the way that we want it to help support and continue to fund the military, then I'm all for it. But I'm not for like what happened with Biden making our military a bunch of mushy mush marshmallows and a bunch of soy boys and soy girls that don't know what bathroom or what gender they are. I am not for that. I want a military that is willing to stand for what is right for our country and defend us, we the people, as we will protect and defend them from foreign and domestic. Men and women that are willing to put their boots back on, even if they may be retired, but willing to do it when that time comes that they need to help us, they will be there for us. That's the kind of military vets and people that we support. And we should continue to support that. Not LGBTQIA crap in the military. I'm so thankful that Trump got away with that. I'm so thankful that Trump done away with it. I'm tired of it. Our military is not a bunch of genderless, confused yuppies. These people are dangerous. These military people are dangerous. They are trained. The ones that go into combat, that see action, are trained to allegedly be killers, to defend, to die, are allegedly willing to die in combat for our country and serve our country to protect and defend the constitutional republic country for which it stands. One nation. For liberty and justice for all. That is the kind of people, military, that I support. And I think that money should go to. 100%. Military men and women that know their place, that are willing against all odds, not going to back down, not take shit, but willing to go out there and do what is right. And we people here should feel blessed, thankful that we have those people out there every day serving our country, doing exactly what they should be doing. Because without them, we would be fucked. We would be screwed. Unconsensually screwed. Metaphorically speaking. I'd rather have a country that has good military and good military weapons that will protect our country if another country decides to supposedly get out of hand or allegedly try to do something they shouldn't be doing. I'd rather have a country that is willing to fight back, not just bend over and take it like a good little brain rotted zombie socialist Democrat that doesn't know what gender or bathroom they use because they're little fluffy marshmallow genderless yuppies. That's all I got to say about it.
If you can believe it, $500 billion more on top of $1 trillion. The American people know.
Now, do I think that he could again be supposedly sensationalizing numbers? Yes. But at the same time, we know why they do it.
That what we have got to do is not only cut the bloated military budget, but stop.
Whoa. Why should we cut the budget of the military when the military is people that defend us? Why should we cut their fundings? Why? That is a socialistic ideology right there that I will not agree to. I am very, very patriotic. I support the men and women that have fought for my country. I thank them every chance I get. I shake their hand and thank them for their service, for their due diligence. Whether they have seen combat or they're just MPs or whatever, or they may not have ever seen combat, I still tell them, you know what, I don't want to hear it. You have served our country. Whether you have seen combat or not, sure, there's a difference, but you still have served our country and you still earn my respect and my gratitude and all of our gratitude and all of our respect for doing such. Because you served our country. That right there is something that a lot of these ballless little yuppies nowadays can't do, is serve our country. And I'll be damned if I would ever consider thanking a liberal yuppie for serving our country. No, they can go to hell. they can go straight to hell. Men and women that fight, that go out there, are the ones that earn my respect. And to claim that you want to cut off their funding, bull fucking shit. Try that in a small town, buddy. Because I'll guarantee you right now, you do that, you know how many military vets probably are going to be calling your phone line up and giving you an earful or two about how they feel about you doing such thing. I guarantee you, your ear will probably be black and blue, metaphorically, by the end of the night, with all those phone calls and hearing all of those military vets, and or not just vets, but that are still out there telling you to go piss up a rope. That ain't happening. I support our military to be funded for the right reason. And if they need guns, weapons, ammunition, or missiles or alleged nuclear weapons, give it to them. Give our military what they need: food, water, shelters, things that they need to be paid for properly, not spent on some bullshit propaganda twisted narrative. So go fuck yourself if you think that is how you think that our military is going to feel okay about it. Because I'm telling you right now, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, our military is not going to be okay about it. I have family that have served. I have family members that have served very proudly. And I support them. And I thank them. And I'm happy that they're home. And I can tell you, they would not be okay with what this sack of old dust says about that. They would be telling him to go piss up a rope as much as I am. And they'd be barking louder than I'm barking right now. Because I'm passionate about my military vets and my military. I will stand on that hill to the very day that whatever above drops me and takes me away from this earth. I will still continue to support my military. Because I know one thing to be true. Without our military, we would be screwed. If another country tried to invade us, we'd be fucked. We'd be done like that. Yeah. We don't want that. So basically, what Bernie's trying to say is he wants other countries to come over and play patty cake with us. Metaphorically, unconsensually. No, go piss up a rope.
Stop these endless and horrific wars that was.
Sure, I disagree with what's going on with Iran. I will disagree with it. But who am I to say what really is going on? I can't. I'm a civilian. I don't have the ability to look at classified information that Trump has to know whether or not that was a right judgment call. I don't. I can't make that judgment call. I can only trust in our leader to make the right judgment calls. And if he doesn't, or if they don't, then we know what we can do. Impeach. Remove them. Because we, the people, should not fear the government. The government should fear us. We, the people. That's what it says in the Constitution of the United States. Because they should fear us, because we can put them in just as fast as we can remove them from office. With due process and evidence. Period.
Thing right now in Iran, in Lebanon, and elsewhere. The American people from coast to coast finding it very hard to afford housing. And our young people.
Yeah, you know why? Because people are too damn lazy. I think this generation's too goddamn lazy. They don't want to get off their asses. They don't want to do shit. They'd rather sit at home in their basement, in their mom and dad's basement, eating freaking Cheetos and Cheese Whiz instead of getting a job and doing the right thing. America has gotten so freaking used to being lazy that now, because Trump's in office and Trump's like, we're not going to allow that anymore. I mean, if you want to live your life, you got to work. You got to be like every other American citizen. Go out there, put in an application, and get a damn job. And do the job. And hold that job so you can afford things in the near future. And you can have a good investment. Like, if you want 401k, the 401k, whatever it's called, the 401k, I think. Good dental plans, good insurance, good, health plans that you or your family need that's going to be implemented in your plan. You got to go out there and work for it. You don't just get it. Nothing is given to you on a golden platter. It is earned by work. This is what socialists want you to do, to be fucking lazy. They want you to be a lazy sack of crap. And that is not tolerable, nor should that be acceptable in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry, but it's truth. It's freaking truth. We're not getting money. You're not going to be living the capitalistic life that you want if you don't earn that money. You don't go out there and work. Work is not to be fun. It's a job that requires you to learn how to do it properly, safely, and correctly so that you do it. Yes, you're helping the company or whatever your job is. But on top, in return, you get it. Or if you want to buy a house, or if you want to go out there, buy a house and do ROI, return of interest, and flip the house for a couple hundred more mil, you got to have the money to do that. You can't have these things if you don't work for them or earn them. You have to earn them. Point blank, period. Hard stop. You have to do this. You catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar, as I've always been told in my life. That is more truth than anything, and especially in today's society. People are just too damn fucking lazy. They want to sit in their laziness and think that people are going to pay them or do whatever for them. No, that is not how we work.
People today are going to get their first home, if they ever get their first home, 12 years later than their parents.
Because people that get a home have worked for it, have earned it. Those that truly deserve to have or be able to buy a home have to work for it or earn it by working hard, by putting in progress, by putting in effort, not laziness. It's effort, progress, moving forward, bettering yourself, bettering your family, helping yourself, but also being aware of how much you spend a month or a week on Big Macs and takeout. If you want a home, don't order as much takeout. you have to be very stingy with how much you put in and how much you take out. You have to be aware of both of those things. If you want to be productive, then you buy the foods and stuff you need at the grocery store and stay away from takeout and things that are super stupid expensive that really are not healthy for you or really good for you in any way, shape, or form. But returning home with food that from the store that you can make and create that helps you keep a little money in your pocket so that you can have a home. Doing the right thing, being smart, not stupid.
What must we do? We've got to build millions of units of low income and affordable housing.
Which is for what? For you trying to build more houses that are less affordable. Let's just put it that way. That's what these socialists want. They want to build more houses and more things, but they make it harder for people to get to because socialism kills the economy, ladies and gentlemen. It's an economy killer. That's what socialism is. And it will always be that, such as that. Because they want to spend money where money should not be spent. So imagine a socialist as somebody that complains and whines that they don't have a house, they don't have everything they want, but instead they live in their parents' basement, eating Cheetos, eating takeout, not going out there working, putting in the effort, and doing their part in the society that sure may not be, in their opinion, the best, but going out there doing something productive, providing not only for themselves, but could have a family, wife, kids, whatever, etc., etc. They like to spend money where they shouldn't, again, equating to takeout, fast food, Cheetos, bad stuff, when they know that isn't beneficial for them at all. But they still do it, and they complain that they're not doing anything good, and they complain that the world around them sucks so much and so badly. Well, you know why they do it? Because they're just living off of they're moochers is what basically they are. They're mooching off of the government. They're mooching off of the government because they want the government to be responsible to baby and pamper them. When that is not how it works. The government is not here to pamper us. The government is here for their job, just like what we have to do. They have a job to do, and they have to do it. Whether we may like it sometimes or not, sure, we can disagree with it all we want. We can, yes, find reasons to remove that person or impeach them, use the 45th Amendment or the 25th Amendment or whatever to remove them for whatever reason because they're not helping us. But at the same time, we need people that are willing to work with us, not against us. And this is what socialists don't want to do. They don't want to work with us. They want to work against us because they've always been petty. I will always say this. They are petty people. They are pathetic, petty excuses of a human life form. They are lazy. They are a bunch of lazy hypocrites. That's all they are.
And right now, in the midst of a terrible and dangerous heat wave right here in the United States.
Oh, God. And here we go with the heat, the global warming,
which followed the heat wave that took thousands of lives in Europe.
And they believe that heat wave, global warming exists. Do they not understand how the weather works? Apparently,
We know that climate change is an existential threat to this planet. We've got
no. I could give two shits about global warming right now. What I'm more concerned with is people like you, Bernie, trying to get people that think like you and that feel the same way you do in office that are gonna allegedly boo boo America up more than what is has already allegedly been done from the past president or the past politicians that boo booed America, that effed America up. No. That global warming crap is all just buzzwords. It's just anecdotal talking points that are used because they want to direct your attention away from something that is more important that they're actually doing. They don't want you to see, kind of like in the Wizard of Oz, the person behind the curtain. They don't want you to see what they're doing, what they're actually doing, but they want you to think what they're doing is good when they're actually doing no good for us.
to take on the fossil fuel industry.
Oh, I love this because they don't like gas cars. They like electric economical cars, right? Right. What is gas powered cars? Not very fuel efficient, still not good because how do you get batteries? Mine lithium. Lithium mines. Remove earth. Earth has to be dug. And things like this still cost money. So they claim that us conservatives and alleged MAGA Republicans are whores to capitalism. But what are they doing? They're spending more money, which supposedly they're against, on trying to be more economically safe using buzzwords by saying gas powered and getting rid of fossil fuel like coal, trees, and stuff, which is part of our livelihood again, as we've gone past this 1,000 times already in today's discussion. They don't get it. They do not understand why half of the shit they say is just ridiculous. It's asinine because they don't understand that gas powered cars have been here for a long time, longer than gas powered, or not gas powered. Gas powered cars have been here longer than battery operated cars. Yes, cars operate with batteries too, because yes, gas powered vehicles do need batteries, but not just predominantly ran on battery itself. That's still very bad. And on top of that, they don't even think about the safety factors into this. How safe is this vehicle? 9 out of 10, when you look at these vehicles, if you were to put a crash dummy in that vehicle and crash it into a wall at high speed, full battery powered high speed, that car would that quickly fold like a freaking accordion. And it is not safe. Hell, I'd rather trust my 1990 Chevy truck compared to a battery operated vehicle. I'd rather pay gas than go out in God knows nowhere land and then end up having my battery dead. Because who's going to pay for putting powered electrical vehicle outlets out there. And then here's a bigger question that they should even ask themselves more than not. What are they going to do when an EMP, electrical magnetic phenomenon, takes course where the power just wipes out altogether, just gone, and their battery powered vehicles can't be charged? But they haven't yet come up with a grand be all idea of how to charge the battery with no power yet. I haven't heard anything yet from these idiots, these buffoons about this. How are they going to work that one out? Please do tell me. Because from what I'm hearing, it's just a bunch of bullshit. And no, do not pardon my expression. I'm calling it as I see it. It's bullshit. Because these people don't understand that gas-powered vehicles are going to be very sought after when they try to enforce rules and implications of electric vehicles, because people more likely are going to then turn to gas-powered vehicles. But then they're going to, at some point, probably allegedly try to make it illegal so that you can't buy any new gas-powered vehicle, which makes it even worse. So all of this shit together, this big bowl of poo, cockamamie poo-poo, that they've been spewing here, shows again how dumb and narrow-minded these people are. That these people that believe these democratic socialists are gullible, brainwashed.
And we're going to move to energy efficiency and
energy sufficient crap. That still is not energy sufficient. That still relies on things somewhat that is the old ways. See, this is why I tell people I will never, I'm so thankful I'm a millennial, because I am old school millennial. I will stick to my old school ways. I'm a stickler when it comes to these things. Half of the shit that they want to claim here, that we're going to do all this, this, and this, sure, will probably more than likely never get done, because there's going to be a lot of fight about it and a lot of fuss about it. And people that, like me, that are aware of the implications of this and the repercussions of this are not what really we want to face. But at some point, we probably will have to face the music and the facts about it. We're not going to. We're going to use logic over just stupid conspiracy, not even conspiracy, but just stupid buzzword salad that you're going to throw out there and claim that you're going to do better for the world, when we know that's absolutely garbage.
Sustainable energy. And I think every day, more and more people are...
You think every day, oh, God, Bernie, stop thinking. I learned to quit thinking. It either hurts my head or it gets me in trouble. So sometimes I do have to think, and it really still does hurt my head.
Understanding the dangers that AI and robotic...
Oh, AI. Oh, as if the Democrats allegedly already are not aware that AI is got capable things that are brewing beneath us. And they know it. They know what they can do with AI. And they know that AI is allegedly very dangerous. And it is not something that we want. Because we're aware that AI, what it can allegedly put us into, is a world that is distraughted with the use of robotic technology But when it comes to fixing these things, who has to fix them? Humans. So it's not really you're taking humans out of the equation. I mean, you kind of are ish in small, certain particular way, but at the same time, as humans have to fix or do things that robots or AI can't do. Sure, AI can program, can edit, can do post production, stuff like that. Sure, robots or AI can probably do that for you. Create your own intro, outro for your podcast or whatever. Sure, AI can do that. But when these things go wrong, who's going to be responsible to fix them? Us humans. So again, it still kind of means us humans still are needed. And as much as these brainless zombies want to think that it's putting humans in the back burner, no. Again, there are jobs that robots and AI cannot do that we can do. But at the same time, where's the balance to this? There is no balance. There's no give or take into this. It's just they want humans to be pushed in the back burner, supposedly because they want AI to move forward when we really don't want AI to move forward. I mean, yeah, we can use it if we move forward with it, then at a controlled rate. It has to be controlled. Ultimately, it has to have control that we can choose whether or not, when, and where it is allowed and what it's allowed to do. Give it only certain limitations, not freedom, super exponential freedom at a high rate, but controlled ratio. Sure, we can use some of these things, like making certain videos. I see a lot of people saying that nowadays they can't tell what is real or AI. Well, exactly, because this is what AI is doing to us as humans. We are getting to a point where we're going to become so numb or immune to it that we aren't going to question anymore. We're going to see anything that may be AI, whether we think it's real or not, as seen as reality. They're trying to implement that into our lives. They're trying to wash our brainwash us into believing this. They're trying to condition us, more better phrase to be used, so that we don't question what is real or fake anymore. We just believe everything that we see is reality for what it is in their face value. That is dangerous. That is terrible. And when you think about it, at what cost? What is this going to cost us? Like, what? We don't even know what alleged damage this could do yet. We're just like tip of the iceberg with this stuff, people. We don't even know if there is or isn't going to be alleged damage from this, or any damage from this. If there is, or if there isn't going to be, because we don't care anymore. That's just how we're being conditioned. That's how we're being reprogrammed. We're, again, we're just like that song in Pink Floyd, Welcome to the Machine. We're being conditioned to follow the machine's rules and laws and regulations, with regulators going around dictating things. It sucks. And it needs to end. It needs to be controlled or stopped. I don't care which one happens first. Whether it's controlled or stopped, I'm good with either or.
Robotics have for our country, and believe as we do that we must make AI and robotics work for all of us, not.
Why should we have AI robotics work for us? Here's the thing, there may be some good in robotic stuff in technology, but also at the same time, I know I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist movie. It may sound like something from the movie I, Robot or whatever. But how do we know 100% sure that these robots may or may not at one point turn against us or be allegedly used for bad purposes? Because if robots get into the hand of the wrong people, we're screwed. Then God only knows then what will happen. Because if they get into the hands of the wrong people, you could bet your ass that they probably can be reprogrammed and redirected to have different narrative or different things that they are being told to do or programmed to do than what they were originally intended allegedly for. We don't know that kind of shit can happen or if it will happen. But I can see that it can allegedly happen because just like allegedly giving weapons of mass destruction to the wrong people, that's not a good idea. That's a fucked up idea. So putting robots out there to do that shit is even worse. Because there's such thing as alleged hacking. If the bad people can allegedly hack into the robot's mother program or into the program of the bot and redirect its mission or prerogative, then you know exactly how that's going to end. Terribly. Horribly. And you know that. And we kind of can tell that would be something probably more than likely that would be able to happen. Because what we don't some people don't understand is we think that allegedly our enemies are stupid as shit. But our enemies learn from watching recon. They learn. Our enemies learn. And if our enemies learn to allegedly reprogram a bot to go against what it was programmed to do, like protect, let's say, if the robot was a bot for military and an alleged bad guy hacked it, that's bad. Then that means the bad guys can have a shit ton of robots at their disposal that could do damage to us humans or to the bots that are still programmed to defend us or do what it's supposed to do. It's truth. But these people want to ignore it because they don't want to take the time to understand that these kind of things are no joke. They are something that we cannot take for granted. We cannot take our enemies lightly and what they can allegedly do by hacking into these bots or reprogramming these bots for whatever reason they pick and choose to do it for. This is why we have to have things implemented for a reason, to protect us.
Just the billionaire owners of big tech.
I don't trust, I do not trust Facebook. I hardly ever trust my camera after I'm done sitting up here, because I know, even with my phone over here too, the government can see me, they can hear me. Hi, boys and girls, by the way. Not giving y'all shit, but I'm just stating truth here. That they can allegedly hear us and see us through the camera. Even if we think our camera is off, they can still see and hear us. They can still allegedly hack into us and see what we're doing, good or bad. That's scary enough. So that kind of is an example of why I allegedly barely trust our government in the first place, and why I would never trust people to create AI or bots. No, I'm not thinking of Terminator or iRobot shit. But I mean, that could technically allegedly happen. Having things like the iRobot and the alleged Terminator shit happen if we allow it to get too far and out of control.
So I think there is a growing consensus that our agenda,
which is socialism,
is the agenda of the American people.
No, your agenda. So their agenda is not of the American people, but for the wrong reason. For the biggest wrong reason. And again, he used the word agenda, which obviously is a blatant, open statement to what he's, again, proven. They're not about the American people. They're not about anything of law and order and things that actual American people really do give a shit about. They're against it. It's simple to see it.
And that's why we are winning elections.
No. Bernie, is that why you allegedly lost a lot of elections? Because people saw past your alleged lies and hypocrisy and the propaganda and your agenda? Is that why you allegedly lost there, old Bernie boy? Yeah, exactly why you lost. Because people see the truth in what you say. You don't mean what you really say. You lie constantly, day after day. You probably, even in your sleep, lie to yourself. Oh, it's not a nightmare, it's just a dream. When in actuality, it's a nightmare. You don't know the difference between truth and lies, Bernie. The Democrats, socialists do not know that. They don't know up, down, left, right, backwards, forwards, ass from elbow, what is legal, what is not legal. They don't know anything. They are not about constitutional republic. They are about democracy and allegedly destroying our country to get our country to become a democracy. That is not what we should allow.
So where do we go from here? What do we do? Well,
stop electing people like Bernie Sanders, progressives, Democrats, socialists, communists. Stop electing these fools. Stop listening to these idiots and these hypocrites, and stop allowing them to be voted in, because they're not going to be about the American people and America justice. or about justice for all and equality. They're about division, diversive tactics. They're about putting things in place for NWO, the New World Order. Because again, they're patsies, they're pawns into this chess game of life. They think this is a game, but we know that it's not a game. It's our livelihood at stake. That our Constitution shall not be and will not be infringed. Our rights shall not and will not be infringed. Period. First, second, third, fourth, or fifth. We have our rights and our freedoms here. They want to take that away. We will not allow it. That would be a cold day in hell for that to happen.
Short term, in my view, we must build on our extraordinary successes,
which they won't do,
by doing everything possible to win the August Democratic U.S. Senate primaries in Michigan and Minnesota.
There you go. See, that's what they want. They want so badly to be in power. They want that power so bad in their hands that they're willing to allegedly do anything and everything possible to get it. Whether it's supposedly right or wrong, they're willing to do it. That's scary. That should scare the holy living freaking bejesus out of anyone. That right there should scare the devil out of Bob Ross's paintbrush. I do not want this. I do not want these people in power. I don't. Because these people, if they become empowered or elected at any point given time, God only knows what they're capable of doing now. Before, we kind of saw a little preview of what they were somewhat capable of doing. We don't know whether they are allegedly more powerful now than they have been before. Because right now, we haven't given them the chance to show us what they are capable of doing. And we don't want them to show us that. There's a point in time where we should just say no. We should have the balls to say no. It's okay to say no. You shouldn't ever be afraid to say no. But these people that, like Bernie Sanders, want to be empowered so bad, or in power so bad, that even when we try to tell them no, they don't listen to us. It's becoming obvious that this is what they want: a dictatorship. Stalin. Schmaltzism. Fascism. This is what they want. And they've told us what they've wanted for a long, long time. And we know that. But we've allowed it. We shouldn't allow it anymore.
For Abdul El-Sayed,
who is an alleged Muslim, which, God forbid, we already have one, well, actually, two, one in the Senate and one in New York, that is an alleged extremist, a Islamic extremist. And what did we learn from these things? This is what they do. They implement alleged Sharia law, socialism, communism, extremism, not for the people or by the people, but by the higher ups that are empowering them, that are pulling their strings because they're Ponzi's. They're just puppets that are being told to do such things.
Peggy Flanagan. So right now, within the next month, there are going to be two really important Senate primaries in Michigan and Minnesota.
Minnesota, if you are smart enough, if anyone in Minnesota is smart enough, vote against this shit. Vote against these people. Call for these people to be not in office, but removed if they are already in alleged office, and impeached, because they are not helping your city, your state. They are damaging your city and state.
We've got to do everything we can.
They want to do everything they can to become powerful. It's like they're like energy, right? Like if you do Qigong or something, like you feel energy, right? It was small at first, but then they started slowly growing to being very powerful. It's like watts or wattage going through electrical outlets. At one point, they were small, but then the wattage got bigger and bigger and bigger to now it's a nuisance. That's all they are, is a nuisance to us. And they should be seen as such, a nuisance.
Support Abdul and Peggy.
Nobody's going to support Abdul because we already know what, again, allegedly he's about. Allegedly Sharia law. Implementing Western culture that is not our culture. Islamic culture, that is not our culture. That is not everyone's culture. Some people here, yes, may be Muslim and not alleged extreme radical Muslims. But look at alleged Ilhan Omar. Look at Zohran Mandani. Look at what they're trying to allegedly implement. Radicalization.
And on top of that, we have many progressive candidates running for Congress, and they're running for down ballot positions, and we've got to be on their side and get their backs as well.
They want you to support these people because they want people to be okay with it. That's all they want, is people to be okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I'm against it. The power to the people. We, the people, have the power and the say to what goes on and what doesn't go on. Because that's what our forefathers fought for and signed in the Declaration of Independence. For us to have the power to vote and choose. But we've turned our heads away and our noses in the air to what we once knew. And we're becoming very snobby about it.
And then after the primaries end, our job is to build the strongest grassroots political movement this country has ever seen for a generation.
Gee, I wonder why. Because all of you people that vote for this don't understand how much damage these people can do to us. or what their alleged capability is. And I've, on many times on this channel, I've talked about it, telling you all that these people cannot be trusted with our lives, and our livelihood is at stake because too many people trust these idiots, trust these politicians like Bernie Sanders, the Democrats, the socialists, the progressives, and the fake news media. This is what I've been talking about. It's nothing not new. It's nothing that's just now allegedly coming out of the woodworks. This is exactly what I have been saying. These people don't give a fuck about you, I, or the next generation and the generation after that. These people are lying through their teeth, just nibbling at the bit to get in power by brainless, mindless, zombie, gullible idiots that vote for these kind of people to have that control. Because once in control, it's over. Our constitutional republic is over. We will then become a democracy. And I don't want a democracy because we're not a democracy.
Election. Let me be very, very clear about this.
You have been, Bernie. You've been very clear, and it's pretty abundantly clear what you are saying.
The wealthiest people in this country.
Again, blaming the rich, because again, we know what socialists do.
The billionaires in America. They have.
But look at some politicians. Kind of arbitrary to their belief and stance, isn't it?
Unlimited, underlying the word unlimited. Unlimited amounts of money to spend to elect right-wing Republican candidates. All right?
But look at what they allegedly do. They allegedly cheat, lie, and allegedly steal to get to a win, to get the W. Wow. And he's sitting here having the audacity to blame right-wing Republicans. For what they do. But we know what these socialist Democrats do. If they can't win fairly, they will allegedly cheat, steal, and lie to get power and control and manipulate us by telling us it's all fake. It's just conspiracy theories, right-wing propagandists, talking points, buzzwords, and yada yada yada, etc., etc., etc. We know exactly where this comes from.
We're talking about billions and billions of dollars. Money doesn't mean anything to them.
Well, money doesn't mean much to these democratic socialists either. Even though we kind of know that they have to, still have our country be a capitalistic state.
Their super PACs are going to be flush with cash.
And what is some Democrats allegedly have been accused of? Allegedly taking money from certain alleged organizations and certain other alleged countries. and allowing alleged other countries to whisper in the politicians' ears. Fascinating how just easy, so easily you can just debunk half of these people, most of these people.
And the only way we take on that money is through an unprecedented, strong grassroots movement, which means
Control, power, manipulation, alleged destruction, and by alleged any means is what they mean. That's what they want. That's what they've been wanting, people, for a long time.
that we've got to knock on millions of doors from coast to coast, reaching out to working families, reaching out to the young.
And I hope anyone, when you try to knock on their door, Bernie, they slam the door right in your face and laugh at you for how stupid you are, thinking that this is a great idea. This is a PR stunt right here that is absolutely stupid. One of the dumbest PR stunts I've heard Bernie Sanders pull. And I know Bernie Sanders should be considered not very relevant because nobody really takes Bernie seriously. But when these kind of people like Bernie have a platform to vocalize their agenda and their talking points and what they're about, that right there tells you why these people need to allegedly have their platform taken away. And they should be allegedly arrested. Well, maybe not arrested, but not listened to seriously, but we should listen to what they say and heed warning that this is what they're going to allegedly do or implement in our lives if we don't control it and not allow them to have that control and that such amount of power.
Reaching out to the disaffected. That's what we got to do in the general election.
They're not about speaking for people that can't speak for themselves. They're not about the poor or helping anyone in any sort of form of way. Their disillusional ideology comes from the alleged higher ups, the anarchists, the oligarchies that are on allegedly their side. They're about this. These kind of people we do need to warn everyone about, to not let these people have this capability, have these ability to do this to us, because we should not allow this to happen to us. We deserve better. And this isn't better. This is worse.
And then in January 2027, after we gain control over the U.S. House,
after they gain control. There you go. See, that was probably something I'm sure that Bernie's writers are probably thinking, oh, God, Bernie, you shouldn't have said that, because now people are going to know exactly what you're doing. See, it's easy. You just listen to these people. You can tell what they're going to do and say, and it's obvious. They want control. I've been saying it for a long freaking time.
And the U.S. Senate, we begin the process of transforming our country
into a socialist country.
Thank you.
That's all they're about. So anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I love you guys. I will see you all later. Vote conservative or Republican, please. Don't let these but these fascist people in power We got to stop them from being in power by making sure we vote people in that are not going to allow this. Till next time, guys. See you guys later.